Welcome back to the Great World Podcast. I'm your host, Isaac Hedges, joined by co-hosts Daryl Foster and Jake Fulmer. We're joined tonight also by special guests Molly Remington, Kevin Williams, and Amber Jenkins. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Jake, what do you have to discuss for us tonight?
Well, I just want to say this is the first time that we've done an episode somewhere else except for our normal recording studio. We're in St. Louis. All right, yeah. So, yeah, I just want to go ahead and start off by asking our guest here, what made you want to be a part of today's episode here in St. Louis?
I didn't even know that this was the thing until you guys talked about recording it. I just thought it'd be fun to see what it is that you did and see what we could sit in on it and bring, our.
Me and Amber are a pack of steel, so
Yeah.
whatever she does, I do too. I'm here.
I was just in the right place at the right time.
Very nice. Regardless of the reason, we're glad to have you all join us tonight. So, Jake, as far as St. Louis goes, why don't you introduce us into a bit of the history of the Gateway Arch and all that surrounds it? What can you tell us about it?
Well, for one, you can go to the top, which is really cool. That's pretty historic, So,
Yes.
it's built back in the 60s. Huge undertaking it was to get it all the way built. So,
Right.
Did anybody else feel like they were I don't know, going into I wasn't sure what was happening when we were getting on it. I was getting a little concerned. It wasn't bad once we got on it, but just as I was sitting there looking at that vault looking door, I was kind of ugh, I don't know what's behind there. I don't know what's happening. I felt a little anxious, I'm going to say, but then it was okay, but I'd never done it before.
Looks like we were getting into that submarine that just imploded in the ocean.
Yeah. And then we were kind of discussing in our cart, they have to have some malfunctions, elevators malfunction. What happens if you're that person and you're stuck in that cart going up to the top? And you're stuck in there for hours and hours. And then we had a little chill right when I said that. I'm like, we're getting ready to find out. But have you guys heard about anybody being stuck in that? It's hadn't happened.
Sure.
I haven't heard of what happens when it does happen, although I do know that there's a lot of stairs that it would take in order to get down, but I'm sure that that's not really pleasant. That's probably like a marathon, at
It's
least for
certainly a lot better going down the stairs than going up the stairs.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do leg day for 2 months.
I guess it would depend on how far up you are. If you're all the way at the top, that's one thing.
Well, again, dating myself, because first time I rode was in 1971. I rode to the top of the arch, and I was much younger then, but still a neat experience both times.
Was it the
This is
same?
amazing.
Yeah, what are some of the
Well, in
differences?
the 71, I would have been I was sixth grade, so I was 10, 11, 12,
13.
13-ish in there. And it was the first time I had ridden in the arch tram and went to the top of the arch. Of course, at that time, I was so short, it's all I could do to look out the little windows. And so now, as doing it as an adult, the view's a lot better. The one thing that I did pick up that I remember, I guess, because I drive buses, the arch is, if you stack 67 buses on top of each other, that's how high the arch is.
Oh,
Wow.
67 buses.
You didn't see that in the...
Short buses or
Guess
long
not.
buses? Short buses or long buses?
Well, it really doesn't make a difference. So when they're stacked on top of each other, they're about the same.
So, are there any other personal experience that you all have had with the St. Louis Arch through
Well,
the years?
Isaac, what are you expecting one of us to say? That we did get stuck in the arch, or we were the first people to get stuck in the arch? Is that what you're expecting us to say?
I don't know, Jake.
I don't know. What if I came on here and said that I did? Would any of you be able to fact check me?
My last
We know you didn't
experience with this was I came here to go to the arch. And it was too windy that day and they wouldn't let us go, even though I thought that they said something today that they didn't, that they were not doing any tours up that day. So maybe it was like a storm, I don't remember, but the weather had something to where they wouldn't let us go up.
Well, I mean, yeah, I thought they said that it would take a tornado, so maybe they thought they were.
Yeah, but this has also been, oh gosh, like probably 15, 14 years ago, something like that.
Well, and they did say that with the wind, that sometimes it would move around a little
You could
bit.
feel
So
it sway.
yeah, you could feel it sway, and so I wonder if that had an impact. And I mean, one thing that I thought the first time that I went earlier this past summer, it was a really hot day, and so I wondered if that maybe like expanded the the materials that they use with it, or if that affected it somehow.
Did you go up in it when you were here this summer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was like the hottest day of the year, so I kind of wondered if that had an effect on it, but it didn't seem to. So they seem to have that managed pretty well.
You didn't get stuck in it then either?
Well, it's a good thing we didn't. Be fortunate. So, outside of the St. Louis Arch, the gateway to the west, what else is the city of St. Louis known for?
St. Louis Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals. So, are you all fans of the Cardinals?
St. Louis City Museum. Oh,
Right.
yes, I love it. I'm true to the blue, but my son and my dad love the Cardinals.
See,
I don't watch baseball. I just saw the stadium when we drove through.
Yeah, do you know who's in the playoffs right now? Are the Cardinals in it?
No,
No.
No, they are not.
neither are the Royals, unfortunately.
Yeah, they lost to the
Both got knocked
Yankees.
out.
right.
But Busch Stadium is really nice. In fact, it's right down the street from us.
Yes.
It is.
Behind us over
Yeah.
here.
It's pretty nice.
And whenever I
Speak.
came here in 1971 and went in the Arch, I also went to a Cardinals game.
Oh, all right.
Because back whenever, that was before middle school was built. And when you graduated from sixth grade, you went into junior high. And all of the sixth graders were given a trip. And our trip, sixth grade trip, was to St. Louis. And we went in the Arch and we went to Grant's Farm and then we went to a Cardinals game.
My 8th grade trip got taken away.
Yeah.
After
Yes.
school for it.
Yes, so did mine. That was unfortunate. So, definitely a major part of St. Louis, the Cardinals. Now, something else you mentioned, Mrs. Jenkins, the St. Louis City Museum. It's my understanding that you all visited that earlier today. What was your experience?
Awesome sauce. It was
I had been before. I think the kids it's something kind of neat to see. I think maybe it's like geared maybe towards like a little bit younger kids, like for all the, slides and this and that and stuff. But I think that it was just something fun to see. We didn't get, I didn't really know that we weren't getting like the whole access. So we didn't have access to the roof. So that was kind of a bummer. But,
I don't know that it's geared toward the younger people. Up until 2 or 3 years ago, I loved crawling through all the tunnels.
a lot of parents were eating that up tonight.
I nearly got stuck in one of the tunnels. I thought I was going to have to call 911.
Tell us the story.
Well, I went into this tunnel, and the further I got into it, the narrower it got. And it was one that I walked through, and I had to turn sideways and go, and I would slide sideways for a little bit, and then relax. And then I would be stuck, and then I would suck my gut back in and take a deep breath and move sideways a little further until I finally got all the way through. But I really was nervous for a little bit. I thought I was going to have to get my phone out and call 911.
so he told us that story earlier today, and we thought we were going to get to see that tonight. And so I was a little disappointed whenever he didn't do that.
I've lost weight.
Yeah.
I might be able to get through there without.
You should have tried it.
But he didn't really even try though.
Well, that's what I said. When I was younger, in February, I had a triple laminectomy, and so I'm not able to move as well as I used to. So
But he still walks very fast.
I'm still,
He actually ran today to the bus.
well, yeah, I can run. Walk, I just can't twist very well in my spine. Have missing pieces of bone.
Well, I think I'd just like to jump on here and say, what is it that you're doing in St. Louis?
Well, I'm actually here at the DECA Fall Leadership Conference, running for a state office in the Missouri State Association of DECA, District Vice President.
Which district?
10.
Oh, District 10.
Right. I know of had the good fortune of serving in that position in the past year, District 10 Vice President, heading a district which happens to include 10 schools. So it was an excellent experience. Essentially what we're doing is coordinating events on a district level, communicating things to those chapters of schools in our district, and serving as their link between the state and local level.
What are the 10 schools?
10 schools.
Yeah, what are all 10 of the
I
schools?
cannot recite them all off the top of my head for you.
Of course you can, come
Can
on.
you recite the preamble of the?
Well, let's stay on topic, my friend.
We the people of the United States.
Let's see if Michigan could do it. Nevada, Diamond, East Newton, El Dorado Springs, Carthage, Hope City, Joplin, I don't know, Sarcoxy sometimes. It's kind of actually a little hard with our districts. Sometimes they're in, sometimes they're out. Did I say Diamond? Oh, McDonald County.
And 3 strikes, you're out.
Our Junction doesn't have a DECA chapter.
Oh, they don't?
Really?
And
Loser.
Lamar doesn't have a DECA chapter. And Sarcoxy sometimes doesn't have one. And I don't know, it's just so sad.
Coming from a DECA president, that's unfortunate.
I know. What did you guys think about the riverboat cruise today? I heard Daryl, what'd you think about the riverboat cruise?
I wasn't paying attention.
It's not very.
I was slightly disappointed because when I was here in 1971, as a 10 or 12 or 11 or 13-year-old, I also took a riverboat cruise. That was one of the things that we did, as well as going to the Arch and Grant's Farm and the Royal Cardinals game. And at that time, the riverboat was actually a paddle boat. It was propelled by the paddles, and now it's propelled by engines, and the paddles just kind of turn as the water goes under them from the
Can
engines.
I just say this? Whenever he came here in 1971, they did all that in one day. They didn't spend the night. So hallelujah, thank the school board for letting us come and spend the night. That's what I wanted.
Of course, we came in charter buses too. We didn't bring a little yellow.
I'd ride the bus if I didn't have to go. But what'd you say, 6 a.m. to 6
Yeah,
a.m. or something? I
We
was
left about
crazy.
6 o'clock in the morning.
24 hour.
Then whenever we got back into
I'm
Nevada.
walking. I mean, that had been at least
Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah, and it rained, and I got cold, and I went and sat in the bus the last 3 innings of the game. And I
Now
didn't
it's go give me a wardrobe.
And I also want to say, thank you for making me a high school teacher. I don't think I could take 6th graders anywhere, especially on a 24-hour shift.
We were nicer as 6th graders back in the 70s than 6th graders are now.
Now 6th graders are vaping and doing everything
Yeah, we were pretty,
they should do.
it was a simpler time.
There's been quite a change, hasn't there?
53 years, I mean, it's changed.
Certainly.
Whether it's for the good or for the bad, I mean.
All right.
Well,
So,
what are you guys going to be doing tomorrow here in St. Louis?
well, we'll be attending our opening session for Fall Leadership Conference. That's when it officially opens. Personally, I'll be doing an interview for District Vice President and giving a caucus speech. Looking forward to that.
What about that fun trivia night we have going on tomorrow night? I don't want anybody to be scared, but this year at summer conference,
You
I
won
don't-
the trivia.
I don't know if you guys have seen that brain on my desk, but my team did win trivia night.
Well,
Anybody
what
want to
about
be on their
last year?
team?
Question about, are we gonna be like on a team, like as our own group?
I don't know. Didn't they kind of just like make us go random last year or something? We got crazy.
All right, who did win last year?
Did you win?
No, who won last year?
I can't remember, the students. It was students.
Right.
Who won last year? I don't know.
It was students.
Right.
Is
So,
it trivia about like business or like what should I be?
It's like just everything.
Everything.
We're on a team.
Like music.
it was about everything.
Last year, they had the students They had students do it together and then the
Why
adult
don't
sponsors.
we like, didn't we get on the team, maybe, and then we just like kind of made one?
We made one, yeah, it's this sponsors, we made one
I'm actually Lamar's advisor then.
and we didn't do so hot.
Yeah, we did kind of.
Some of the
They were kind of hard.
questions, well, some of the
Some were
questions.
really young, they were like.
Some of the
4
questions
year
were young
kids, like-
people. I mean, you asked me about some of the music that,
Sexy Red.
what in the world is that? So I wouldn't have any idea. Somebody said,
Not sure.
yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I have no idea.
Red's a rapper.
Can I give you guys some
see.
inside information about last year's trivia night? I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say who it was that won, because I'm not gonna rat them out, but they didn't play fairly, let's just say.
Was
They
it you?
They Googled the
It
answer.
was not me.
Who was it?
I just said I wasn't gonna reveal who they were gonna be.
Was it Isaac?
I think
No, it
it's
wasn't
Red.
anybody, nobody from our school won. It was somebody, did they? No, it was a different, it was some other school.
I don't know, but I believe there was a lot of dishonesty going on. They weren't
Oh, I
supposed
think that
to.
people were using their phones all the time, was what we were
Right.
saying too. But, I
Right.
mean, was it somebody from our school that won? I didn't think anybody from our school won.
I don't think so.
No.
No, definitely not.
Why is the accent like that then?
It's not cheating if it's just using your resources.
I know, but you were told not to use those resources.
Right.
Yeah, I just told them not to, Molly.
Sorry. Well,
So last year, I recall that the fellow who was in charge was called DJ Trivia. So do you know, is that the same person?
I
Who'll
don't
be coming in for that this
know.
year?
They did not
Okay.
tell me about it.
But it was lots of fun anyway. Even.
I actually was thinking when we were coming here, I was like, oh, you know what? They're gonna like take us to the ballpark and give us like a tour or something. Like, you know, like what we've done at Dixie Stampede, or that time we went to that show in Branson, or some different things, is what I was thinking. And because they said last year that we had to do trivia because the Margaritaville was so far out there that there was gonna be enough time to bus us other places and stuff. And so now I kind of feel like that was just a hoax. And I feel like
Right.
bringing in whatever you said, DJ
DJ Trivia.
is just a cheaper option than taking us somewhere fun.
It does seem that way, and I think really it's
But the
unfortunate.
reality is, in this situation, we could walk to the ballpark.
Exactly, I know. That's why I'm kind of surprised that they didn't have something more exciting. When I saw trivia, I was just like, "Ooh, okay." I mean, it's fun, but I mean, I just thought it was going to be, since we were in this big city, I thought it was going to be something a little bit more fun.
nerdy.
Like Night at the Arch or something.
Right.
Night at the, yeah, like Night at City Museum, like, you know, they rent that for groups and stuff. I mean, I don't want to have like a sleepover there or anything, but I don't know.
That would be nice. I remember one in particular from the past that I really enjoyed was the Legends in concert in Branson.
Yes, that was a
So,
good one.
Something like that I would like to see.
We went to the Hughes
More.
Brothers and they gave us this, I mean, I like kind of feel like I'm part of their family after the big talk they gave us. And then
Right.
we did the Legends, we did Dixie Stampede. That was probably my favorite.
Right, Dixie Stampede was excellent as well. Now, outside of that, surrounding the city of St. Louis, is there any other experiences that you all would care to share?
From this trip or just in the
Oh,
past?
from this trip or from the past?
You know, St. Louis has a nice zoo and it's always free admission. You guys know that?
Nice.
Oh, I go to a zoo 5 days a week. 8 a.m. to 2:52.
Tell us about that.
It's a bunch of wild animals. Some of them don't know how to shower. It kind of smells bad. But they just need help with their hygiene.
Really?
Yeah, where is this zoo located at? Do you have like an address?
900 West Ashley Street, Nevada,
I
Missouri.
think it was Hickory.
Oh.
I thought it was Ashland, doesn't smell.
I knew it sounded very familiar.
Yeah.
If you guys are wondering, if you look that up, it's the Nevada, Missouri High School. It is.
Well, back to St. Louis, the botanical gardens here are really fascinating. Nice place to go. A lot of fun. It's a fun place to go. And Boone's Farm. No, I keep saying Boone's Farm. Grant's Farm is a good place to go. I haven't been there since I was in 6th grade.
I've heard that that's fun. I haven't been there, but I've heard.
It's a really neat place to visit. The Union Station.
I've been to Union Station. It is very
It's very
nice.
nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
I guess other things in St. Louis. I mean, the last time that I was here, I mean, I went to Lindenwood University for Missouri Boys State.
Right, just outside of St.
Yeah,
Louis
just
and St.
outside
Charles.
of St. Charles, but same area, you know.
Right, as was I,
Great region.
which was an excellent experience.
You guys want me to tell you about what happened to me in St. Louis this summer?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. So I'm driving, and I kind of bit off more than I could chew that morning. I was going to catch I think it was like a 3 o'clock flight out of St. Louis to Florida. But I decided, I was working the babies at church, got done working the babies, and I was going to get on out of here, had the car packed and everything. Get all the way to St. Louis. I had it all planned out. We were going to park at the Hyatt Regency. It was like so much per day. I don't know, it was like $5 a day or something, really cheap parking, and then shuttle to the airport. We get everything out of the car, get on the shuttle, and the shuttle driver says, "What are you flying out of?" And I said, "Allegiant." He said, "Well, I don't think the airport flies out of Allegiant." I said, "Oh yeah, of course it does. Got it right here. Got it right here." He's like, so he keeps driving everything, and he says, "Now we get to the airport." He goes, "What'd you say you were flying out of?" And I said, "Allegiant." He goes, "Yeah, this airport doesn't fly out of Allegiant. Like it's not on the sign. We're at the wrong airport." So there's like St. Louis Airport, and there's like St. Louis Bellevue in Illinois, which is just like about 30 minutes down the road. So we have to make the shuttle driver take us back to the hotel, get out of the parking, load the car back up, drive us, because now we're already like almost late, like drive the car, then 30 more minutes. We get there, I would totally fly out of the airport again. It was the best little airport. I mean, there's not even a tram is how close the parking is to the airport. You just walk up there, you get right on. It was wonderful. And we made the flight. Everything was fine. You don't have anything to say on that, do you? That's just like you didn't know what I was going to say.
I did not, but that was very interesting. So, Jake, I believe you were saying something about a recent experience near St. Louis.
Oh yeah, about what exactly?
Boys State.
Missouri Boys State.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to know, I was in Model City, Donovan City. Yeah, I go Donovan City, Yeah, we were Model City, so yeah, I'm gonna brag on that as much as possible. So, Isaac, what did your city do?
My city.
Did they earn a bad reputation by the news?
Oh.
Is that what I remember?
Well, no, they did not. It was a neighboring city. So I'll forgive you for your mistake. But no, that was not my city.
They're excellent dead, by the way, in case you're wondering. We made sure of that.
The city was responsible for that, actually.
That's what I'm talking about. You tried to act like that they weren't. Donovan City doesn't tax you to go through our staircase. We're better.
Right, we did away with that in our county. Anyway, no, I was part of Crowder City at the American Legion Boys State of Missouri program, which was an excellent experience. My roommate was great. He happened to be mayor of our city, and at the end of the award ceremony, he won the award for the top city government official. So I think that's worth something. It speaks well of Crowder City.
Yeah, did your guys' city change the name to Metropolis at the end? Like we did, because we're just that great.
No, we didn't think that it was necessary.
What about your park?
Our park.
Do you have a really good park?
We did.
Why wasn't it on the map?
I suppose it was so well known that it just didn't need to be.
Are you boys beefing?
That's just a little entertainment.
Oh, okay.
No, Jake is just a
Did you guys have a little
little
argument?
bit sore about what city he belonged to at Boys State.
I don't know how anybody could be sore when they have Model City.
Sorry, Jake.
Big
Not
fan.
everyone can belong to Crowder City.
Not everybody can win Model City. In case anybody's wondering, that's considered the highest prize that you can win at Missouri Boys State.
Just being on Model City?
Yeah,
Right. Well,
highest prize.
there are certain gray areas which we can get into later if you'd like to.
All right,
He's down for
you make a
it.
plan. I'll show up.
We'll see about that.
No.
Sure. So,
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go ahead and get my debate typed up. Be back soon.
Right. I suppose he'll be preparing for some time if he returns at all, that is. Yeah, that's absolutely very nice. So that was in St. Charles, Missouri, just outside of St. Louis. You all shared a little bit about your experience. We've talked about the Gateway Arch, which, interestingly enough, my grandfather, at the time that it was being built, he was in St. Louis and saw it under construction, lived just outside of St. Louis, city of St. Genevieve, right along the Mississippi River. First settlement west of the Mississippi, that's St. Genevieve. As a kid, he ride his bike and hop a ferry right over to Illinois, which, interestingly enough, his mom did not find out about until he was 50 years old. So there's another connection to the city of St. Louis.
I was going to see here, this is the first time that we've ever had our DECA Fall Leadership Conference in St. Louis. And so I thought that it would be kind of entertaining, or I don't know what the word I guess I'm looking for, like just worth something, I guess, to find out how many schools actually attend from this area. And if there isn't a huge number, then, I kind of vote that we just take it back closer to home, but I mean, not that I have a problem with St. Louis. It's
Right.
just, it's quite a ways for us
It
from
is.
Nevada.
It is.
And so I think our plan is to rotate, like we're going to go to Branson next
Right.
year, then back to Margaritaville, then maybe back to St. Louis. But if there's not a lot of interest in this area, I wonder if that will be like thought through. I don't know.
Right. So with the rotating locations, do the dates or times also change slightly? Presumably they would, at least a bit.
Yeah, definitely. So like last year we went, I think like the very first weekend of March, sometimes it's been March, being in state, October. So sometimes it's been like the 3rd through the 5th, and then sometimes it's in the middle. And then I think even one year it was towards the end. So it's just, it kind of rotates, just kind of like our state dates do.
Right. Vary a fair bit.
But I just want to say hallelujah that state's not over spring break again. Woo!
Absolutely. So what can you tell us about state competition with DECA?
Well, like, would you want to know like when it is, or like what do you want to know about it, or just like?
Well,
it's in
all you have
Kansas
to say,
City.
sure, when is it?
So we used to always be stuck at the lodge for years and years and years, and then we kind of outgrew it. That's the Lodge of the Four Seasons in Lake of the Ozarks, and so we've been in Kansas City for the last, like maybe 8 years almost. It's been a while, and we're there at the Crown Center. We stay at the Westin and the Sheraton. We always go sometime in March, somewhere between the first weekend, all the way to the last weekend. This weekend, or this year, we're right in the middle. I mean, I think we're on like the end there of spring break, but at least it's not right during that week. So I hope we take a big crew, and our national competition this year is in Orlando again. And we found out we are staying at the Rosin Shingle again, which is a really, really nice resort. So I hope we have some kids qualify for that. Yes, that's true. Unless the hurricane got it, but let's hope not.
Right. Right, absolutely. So, speaking of the groups that you take to Fall Leadership Conference, not Fall Leadership Conference, state competition for DECA each year, how large have those groups been year on year, say, this past year as opposed to the
Well, I
year
will say
before?
the year that COVID hit, that was going to be our highest year. We were set to take 33 students that year.
33?
So that was going to be our highest year. And then it's just ever since COVID, I mean, it's kind of dwindled a little bit.
Okay.
Last year, I think that we were, we're still usually around like 12 or 15, but, we were always between like, 20 to 24 was usually our number. And then we had a high that year. We had 33 kids. We didn't get to go.
So, still a decrease. I see.
Our membership's down a little bit this year, just our freshmen. We do have one freshman on this trip with us. I think he's in bed, but our freshmen are just, I don't know, not as interested as they have been in the past.
Right, so you mentioned COVID. Perhaps due to that, membership took a considerable hit.
I don't know, maybe, usually kids are taking the intro class to be in DECA, we feel like, and I only have one intro class this year. I can't speak for Miss Olson, but I only have one intro class, and I have one student out of 14 that's in DECA.
1 out of
One.
14.
What do you have to say about that?
About that?
Yes.
Uh,
I mean, either one of you, Madam President's here and Mr. Vice President of Operations, like, what do you guys think we should do to boost that up?
Well, I believe there ought to be greater emphasis placed on it. In
What do you
classes.
mean, like, they should twist their arm until they sign the paper and pay the money?
Well, not necessarily.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I was just wondering what you meant by that.
So, as far as events go, just if you've been speaking with me, talk about the different reasons that people have gone in the past, and
Wait.
I think also.
I have something to say why people
Sure.
are doing DECA instead. So people like hear it's about competing and they have so much going on already, they don't even worry about competing. So they don't understand you have to compete to be in DECA. And they prioritize other things like sports and work.
Okay, I have,
over it.
that is the weirdest thing. When we started passing out t-shirts, I know this isn't the DECA podcast, but when we started passing out t-shirts, Ms. Olson was like, told me that like 3 of her kids had dropped. I'm like, what do you mean they dropped? Like they just paid their dues. Like, how did they drop? Like, what
Yeah,
did they
why-
drop?
why would you
And she
wanna-
was like, well, they didn't want to do it or whatever. And I was like, okay. And I thought, weird. And then another boy, actually, it was the girl that's with it. It was her boyfriend. He was like, well, I'm just hearing all this stuff about it. And I'm so confused. And I don't know if I have enough time. And I said, what are you hearing about it? Like, you don't have to like an hour and a half a month to come to a meeting? Like, what do you mean? You know, and he's like, well, I don't know. I just like that you have to do all the stuff. And I'm like, what kind of stuff are you talking about? So I don't know if there's like some misconstrued information out there that we need to figure out. I mean, obviously I feel like that people should compete if they want to get like you can't go to state or nationals without competing. But I mean, if you just absolutely do not want to compete, like I'm not going to force you. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's kind of
Yeah,
like,
it's not like it's a requirement to
well,
be.
it's kind of like being on the like the basketball team or the volleyball team or the football team or whatever, and then like never actually playing a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like in a little bit. So like I get that you're busy, but I mean, if you just want to be part of it, that's fine. We want people to be part of it, and then eventually maybe they will. But we have so many, they can take just a test. I know a lot of freshmen don't like to talk. We have the papers they can write. I mean, we have so many different things that they can do, like, and we try to help them do one. So I don't know, maybe if we scared them.
I think this part of it has to do with the fact that they hear about the fun stuff. And so they get all excited and want to join for the fun stuff. But when they find out there's also some commitment involved and actually having to do something, that it's not just all the fun stuff. There's other stuff too.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think and that's societally, we see that in adults too. Volunteerism
Absolutely.
is a thing of the past. People don't volunteer to do stuff. You end up with the same handful of people doing all of the work in all of the different organizations, and then the rest of the folks just want to come and enjoy the fruits of everybody else's labor, because it's kind of a strange phenomenon in our society, is that everybody's just interested in doing what they like to do. And
Well, yeah, and the bare minimum, like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really wants to go above and beyond. I mean, I think the thing of like, if you're going to do something, you better do it right.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a thing of the past.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, I'm kind of in a bit of a different position because I kind of started out as a freshman in high school, not really doing a whole lot of activities, and I've kind of started adding more activities. But I know for a lot of people as a freshman, they come in and they want to be in everything, and then they realize that it's not going to work out. Like they can't be
more than what
in,
they think.
it's more than what they think it's going to be when they get in that position. So I think that definitely has a bit of a role to it. So.
And I don't want to get on my soapbox here, but I just think too, I mean, DECA has so many potentials and it's actually skills that you're gonna, use in real life. And my kids and grandkids, my nieces, all play sports. I'm not knocking on sports, but how many people do we really have, that are gonna go pro sports from the baby? Not very many, but how many, real people that we have that own a business or work in a business? I mean, how many of those people do we produce? I mean, several. And, we have, we probably give out more scholarships than, the volleyball team or the football team. You know what I mean? As a local. So anyway, that's just my little thing.
You tell 'em, girl.
Right, and as you both mentioned earlier, on that front, when it comes to recruitment, that's certainly been my experience that they're intimidated by the commitment when they find out about it. Now that partly I think lies on the one making the recruitment efforts, maybe not making that clear. There are quite a few opportunities, not necessarily requirements, that are associated with membership. But of course, on the other
Well, I mean,
hand,
I don't know that I really agree with that, Isaac. I'm going to just call you out like Jake did. I feel like as requirements we have, I mean, you have to pay your dues and be in a business class. I don't really feel like that's a huge requirement. I mean, we don't even require a certain amount of meetings. It's not like, like band, you guys have to be practice like every morning, is it once a week and all these, that's like a huge requirement.
Yeah.
And choir, isn't that once a week or more than that? And cheerleading, those are huge requirements.
I feel like really every
little deck over
Yeah.
here is just once a month, please come to our meeting if you can.
You don't have to compete. You don't have to waste your extra time writing a paper.
I don't know. I think this is just the way I look at it. It's what you put in, it's what you're going to get out. And so if you don't put in and you don't want to compete or whatever, then you're not going to get out the full experience as maybe somebody else. You're not going to get to tell the story. Oh, hey, I had this happen at state or this happened at nationals. And that's, what I mean? That's their story to tell or not tell. But I don't really feel like that we have a huge amount of requirements. We've talked about it. Should we say you have to have so many requirements to, so many meetings to compete or so many activities to compete or, different things like that. And I don't really feel like that we've actually ever really,
It's
made those a requirement. So I don't really feel like, we have minimal requirements compared to some of the other groups.
We just ask you to show up and listen whenever we talk.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say if I had a bit of a goal for this trip here in St. Louis and for this episode here in our podcast, it would be to almost kind of recruit members, make them see how much fun that we're having here tonight recording this. And maybe that will hopefully, increase the amount of people who want to be a part of DECA. And I think that could be a really big benefit. So, that was one of our main reasons for doing this tonight, but also to give a little bit of background in the history of St. Louis, since we are here for the DECA trip. You want to go ahead and close this out, Isaac?
and we'd like to thank all our special guests tonight, Molly Remington, Kevin Williams, and Amber Jenkins. I'm your host for the Great World Podcast, Isaac Hedges.
Jacob Fulmer and
Darren Foster.
Again, this is your host, Isaac Hedges, for the Great World Podcast, signing off. Till next time, from all of us at GWP International, good night and God bless.